Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is sequeling up our cineplexes this weekend, and since Jurassic Park was one of the very first What's the Differences we did, it's time to move into sequel territory ourselves.
The second of two Jurassic Park novels by Michael Crichton, The Lost World was written and published in 1995, after the first film came out. In fact, it was Spielberg himself who lobbied Crichton to write another one so that they could have more material for a film sequel. Help me, Michael Crichton, help me.
So what does it look like when you write a sequel to a book specifically to inform a sequel to a movie that already changed a bunch of stuff from the original book that film was based on, then make the film sequel version of that book sequel?
Probably a big goddamn mess.
Probably. I'm Clint Gage.
And I'm Casey Redman.
So go check out our old Jurassic Park episode for a quick primer on the first book and movie, and with no restraint on spoilers, it's time to ask, what's the difference? Let's start by answering the question asked whenever anybody decides to make a sequel. Why the hell are we doing this? The answer? For the money.
Really? Because I kind of thought that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess kind of.
Because you know that science rules.
Well, you know what? We're kind of both right. Both the book and movie feature two different groups going to InGen's other dinosaur-filled island, Isla Sorna. One that's in it for academia, and one that's trying to stack that paper.
In the book on Team Science, we find Dr. Ian Malcolm, totally not dead as the first novel sort of implied, but totally hobbled by the bum leg left over from his adventures in the first book. He's giving lectures on his new theories about extinction, vehemently denying the existence of dinosaurs, and being hounded by the super rich, super arrogant scientist named Richard Levine.
Levine is the heir to a doll-making fortune, and he's convinced a lost world is on the verge of being discovered in Costa Rica. Dinosaurs are turning up on the mainland, and the Costa Rican government is doing a hell of a job covering it up. The first third or so of the book covers months of investigation leading to the discovery of Jurassic Park's secret second island, Site B. Ultimately, Levine chips away at Malcolm, and they begin planning an expedition to the island. Malcolm is actually stoked about this. He sees this as an incredible opportunity to study the animals and thinks he can prove some of his theories about extinction.
But when Levine jumps the gun and heads down early by himself, of course he gets attacked by dinosaurs and stranded on the island, forcing the rest of the expedition to hustle down there and rescue his ass.
The movie opens with a super rich British family yachting their way through the South American coast. Their little girl goes off to explore, but instead finds a bunch of compies and gets attacked. This was actually how the first novel opened. So, John Hammond, who totally didn't die in the first movie like he did in the first book, is now scrambling to keep control of InGen by sending Team Science down to Isla Sorna to study the animals, hoping to sway public support by showing the flourishing dinosaurs peacefully living on their own.
Malcolm, of course, thinks this is dumb, which is a key difference between book and movie Malcolm. While book Malcolm has denied the dinosaur thing for years and is gung-ho to study them again, movie Malcolm was vocal about his experience in Jurassic Park, to the point where his credibility has been shattered. He's just that, crazy dinosaur guy.
It isn't until Malcolm learns that Team Science's resident paleontological behavior theorist / his girlfriend Sarah Harding is already on the island that he agrees to go, but only if he gets to say this on his way out the door.
It's not a research expedition anymore. It's a rescue operation, and it's leaving right now.
And so Team Science is forced to hustle down there to rescue Sarah. So who else is going? Along with Malcolm and Sarah, Team Science has Eddie Carr, designer of all the rad field equipment, Nick Van Owen, a roguish cameraman and activist, and of course Kelly, Ian's stowaway teenage daughter.
In the book, it's Jack Thorne that designed all the rad field equipment, and Eddie Carr, described as a stocky young man in his 20s, is his foreman. They both make the traveling squad along with Sarah Harding. She's not quite Julianne Moore in the book, described as short, muscular, and compact with short black hair. Book Sarah specializes in predators and is off studying them in Africa when the call comes in to hustle to the island and rescue Levine.
They've also got not just one, but two young stowaways. Kelly and Arby are two students who had struck up a friendship with Dr. Levine, becoming his research assistants and little errand kids. Learning that he had disappeared on the island, they are determined to help get him back.
Aw, gee, I hope they're useful. It'd be a drag if all they were good for was timely gymnastics.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty sharp kids. One of them is into computers, so, yeah, probably better than the gymnastics thing. But how about team money? In the movie, it's led by Hammond's nephew, Peter Ludlow, who's taking charge of InGen. Determined to salvage InGen's most bonkers assets, Ludlow sends an enormous expedition to the island to capture as many live animals as possible to bring them back to an almost finished zoo they apparently already own in San Diego.
They've got this hilarious dinosaur nerd stereotype in a cowboy hat, this awesome big game hunter stereotype, Roland Timbo, and a host of other colorful mercenary types that aren't in the book at all. Because in the book, Team Money is just three three guys. Lewis Dodson, a corporate saboteur with InGen's rival who appears in both the first book and the movie.
Dodson! Dodson! We've got Dodson here!
His plan is to steal the fertilized eggs from Site B. He's not exactly a nice guy in the movie, but he's a real worm in the books. He even tries to kill Sarah Harding by throwing her overboard on the way to the island. But tagging along with him are his right-hand man Howard King, a researcher who does not feel good about working with Dodson, and Professor Basilton, a celebrity biologist who's been the face of anti-dino PR, going on TV and denying everything anybody says about dinosaurs possibly existing.
Once they get to the island, Team Science sets out to find the people they came there for. In the movie, they find Sarah pretty quickly, while the book takes almost as little time to find Levine. Book Team Science spends a lot more time discussing their findings because, again, all of them are super gung-ho to study up while they're down there. But once they're on the island, there's really only one thing that's similar. The mom and pop T-Rexes attacking the trailer, although the setup is a little different. In the movie, Sarah and Nick release all the captured dinosaurs, ruining InGen's camp. On their way back, they find a baby T-Rex that big game tough guy Roland Timbo was using to lure a T-Rex into his rifle sights. Sarah and Nick rescue the baby and bring it back to the trailer to mend its broken leg.
In the book, Team Money accidentally steps on the baby T-Rex when they're stealing eggs, leaving it helpless with a broken leg. But when Team Science finds it, the baby manages to chomp down on Eddie's boot, refusing to let go. Sarah and Ian actually tell Eddie to shoot the thing, because it'll be dead soon anyway. Look at it, it's totally It isn't until later it's revealed that Eddie didn't have the heart to do it, so he brought the baby back to the trailer instead. You idiot!
Once Mom and Dad T-Rex show up and start wrecking shop, the trailer over the cliff sequence is probably the high watermark of the film. Ian, Sarah, and Nick get tossed around, rolled over, and end up dangling on a rope. They only make it out alive thanks to the help of Eddie Carr, who gets needlessly ripped in half. Like, the dude did not deserve to die this brutally, and man, does no one shed a tear for him. Ultimately, it's InGen's now crippled expedition team that helps them back onto solid ground.
The book attack finds just Ian and Sarah in the trailer. Ian gets crunched up pretty bad and is completely helpless again, while Sarah gets him out with the help of Jack Thorne. And while nobody gets eaten, huzzah! Ian spends the rest of the book in a morphine-induced fever dream, reduced to mumbling and being carried places.
After the trailer attack, Team Science and Team Money reluctantly join forces to make it off the island, but boom, this guy dies. And bam, so does this dinosaur nerd. And bam, bam, lots of other guys get eaten by raptors, and by the time the helicopters arrive, Ian, Sarah, and timely gymnast Kelly have survived along with Nick Van Owen. But so has Ludlow, Timbo, and the male T-Rex that he took down with a high-powered tranq rifle, all caged up and headed to the mainland.
But before we go back to movie mainland, we're staying on Book Island, where Team Money just can't get those eggs. Dodson's plan involves a device that emits a high-pitched frequency, which drives the parents away from the nest while they sneak in and grab an egg. But when the device shorts out on him in the T-Rex nest, Basilton gets eaten while Papa T-Rex chases away Dodson and King. King gets eaten by raptors pretty quickly, but Dodson is actually able to hunker down in a shed for a while.
Meanwhile, Team Science has their own adventures with the raptors. When the dinosaurs attack them in the high hide, Eddie gets knocked down to the ground and eaten. Arby, meanwhile, gets himself stuck in an anti-predator cage at ground level. While the raptors use it like a hamster ball, kicking it back to their nest, one of them gets the key literally stuck in its teeth. So Thorne and Levine take off for the cage, while Sarah and Kelly take off on a motorcycle to bring down the raptor with the key.
Wow, that sounds pretty exciting.
Oh, it is. Way more exciting than timely gymnastics.
Ultimately, Team Science holes up in the old workers' compound. Sarah finds Team Money's gas-powered Jeep and tries to get it, only to have Dodson and a T-Rex show up at the same time. In a wicked, cold-blooded move that Dodson totally had coming, Sarah pushes him out from under the Jeep, letting the T-Rex nobble him up. Nobble him? The dinosaur brings the asshole back to the nest where the baby T-Rexes can learn how to kill. Meanwhile, Team Science survives another encounter with raptors and finds their way to a boat where they make it off the island. That's still doped up Ian, Sarah, Thorne, Levine, Arby, and Kelly.
But in the movie, Team Money is just getting started. Once back on the mainland, Ludlow is all set to introduce InGen's most amazing thing ever, when instead, the T-Rex straight up King Kongs his way through San Diego. Sarah and Ian have to use the baby T-Rex once again to lure the big guy back onto the ship, where Ludlow, like Dodson from the book, is used for baby T-Rex hunting practice. The film wraps up with some sentimental thoughts from John Hammond about preserving the island and a peaceful Norman Rockwell image of a family of T-Rexes living happily side by side with stegosauruses and pterodactyls. So it would seem that Team Science has won.
The book, meanwhile, offers no such conclusion. Malcolm even discovers that their whole trip down there was useless. You see, it turns out that InGen fed some of the dinosaurs a bad batch of sheep meat that spread a degenerative condition, drastically shortening their lifespan and dooming them to extinction. Again. So even the prospects of studying a lost world became moot. Team Science doesn't get their data, and Team Money, their corpses. So I guess Team Dinosaur wins this one? Point is, the book is about salvaging what's left from the original Jurassic Park. Team Science looking to learn about extinction through this pristine lost world, and Team Money just looking to pick InGen's bones clean.
The movie, on the other hand, picks up the same themes as the original film. Awe in the face of the creation of dinosaurs and the complete arrogance in thinking we can control it.
That's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
That's it for The Lost World. Let us know what you think about Fallen Kingdom, and if you're going to Tirana see it this weekend.
Ew, dude. Put that away. It's not even
sorry.
fun.
Just be sure to subscribe to CineFix for more What's the Difference.
That was fucking stupid.
It was the first thing that popped into my head. I didn't workshop it.
Boo!